Live but very dark look in Chicago this morning, where the DNC will wrap up tonight with their final night, with Vice President Kamala Harris expecting to speak and accept her party's nomination.
So we're going to have more on that really from night 2 as well in just a few minutes. But first, you heard the song Heat Wave. You will not believe that when you step out this morning, but surely time will tell on that one.
It'll come eventually, but today is just awesome out there. If you like it cool and very fall-like, some of you this morning are in the 40s. And by the way, if you just got up, we've been talking about this. Pumpkin spice latte makes its return to Starbucks today. Yeah, and how appropriate with this. So let's take a live look to our north this morning. Good morning to all of you in Carmel. This is beautiful downtown Carmel, the Center for Performing Arts. We've got a clear sky out there, clear in Indianapolis too. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means we're going to have a great day today. Now, we do not have a north wind, and I think later this afternoon, certainly you're going to notice that, but still, it's lovely out there. Notice the cloud deck starting to move in from the west. We could tap into some of that today, but I think all in all, this is going to be one for the books. Just beautiful. Right now, though, if you are at all cold-natured, you need at the very least long sleeves, especially in Pendleton and Fishers and Noblesville, where it's 49. It's 56 in Indy, but much cooler in the outlying areas. Lafayette at 49, Kokomo at 48. Even on the IU campus of Bloomington, it's just 49 degrees on this very brisk morning. To our south this morning, there are a number of heat warnings and watches. I know Al Roker is going to talk a lot about this on the Today Show, and I'll mention this, that from basically south of Oklahoma City through the entire state of Texas, basically near record-breaking heat in some areas. I'm hungry today, so I'm going to give you a breakfast, lunch, and dinner forecast. Breakfast hour this morning, we're in the 50s, 62 by 10 a.m. At lunchtime, we should be in the low 70s. And tonight, really lovely after a high of 78. We're going to stay in the 70s till about 9 o'clock tonight. More on the heat wave beginning this weekend, but let's take a look at traffic this morning. And this has been kind of a problem, to say the least. What you're looking at here, so this is westbound 465. This is eastbound 465. The Fashion Mall is right there, okay? So Keystone, getting onto that eastbound entrance to go to 465, can't do it. We still got this situation here. There are tow trucks, semi-truck out here, and crews have been working on this for the better part of a couple of hours. But if you're going southbound, keep that in mind on Keystone. This is I-69 just north of 465 in that major construction zone. So far, so good. Fingers crossed. You're traveling 65 miles per hour from about 116th to 96th, and then you start putting the brakes on at 91st down to 20 miles per hour. More weather and traffic in a few minutes, ladies.
Chuck, thank you. Well, right now we're still gathering details about what led up to a deadly shooting on the city's northwest side.
This morning, police, they have now identified a person of interest, so we are checking back in to see if they made any arrests. This happened last night outside of a business on MLK near West 26th Street. Just after that call came in, our crew was there at the scene.
Officers tell 13 News when they arrived, they found a man who had been shot, quickly called in the medics to get him to the hospital, but he died a short time later. We also have made calls to police about perhaps a motive in this case and have not yet heard back.
An IMPD sergeant is scheduled to appear in court this morning on 13 counts of child exploitation.
Javed Richards is accused of downloading and sharing videos of child pornography online. CEO New Yorker has been going over all the details in this case and what we expect today. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Yes, there are 26 pages of documents that detail the case against Sergeant Javed Richards, and a lot of it is too graphic to share on air. But I can tell you that investigators found at least a dozen videos of a young girl engaged in various sex acts with an adult male. Now take a look. The 12 videos range in length from 15 seconds to 2 minutes. According to court records, in mid-July, on one night over several hours, Sergeant Richards used a messaging app called Kik to enter into chat rooms and share sexually explicit videos. Earlier this month, detectives with IMPD's Internet Crimes Against Children got a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that someone in Indianapolis was downloading and sharing child porn. The IP address linked with those videos came back to Sergeant Richards, and he was arrested and charged with 13 counts. He is in jail on a $4,000 bond. Investigators say that when they interviewed Richards about it, he said, quote, "Whatever happened in that moment, whatever it was, is not who I am, right? It is not who I am." Now, he is expected to be in court later today. He has been suspended from IMPD, but we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on Sunrise. Reporting here at the CJC, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
Thank you, Sia.
Well, a shocking, deadly family feud right here in Marion County. New court documents revealing what exactly led up to a triple homicide in Lawrence.
So the shooting was last weekend in a parking lot near 42nd and Post Road, but police are now blaming that shooting between two Honduran families. Those documents also reveal one of the men involved in the shooting filed multiple reports with IMPD about being afraid for his life. Investigators believe one of the men killed was a relative trying to break up a fight.
Lakeisha Jackson represented the area as a counselor and now does as a state senator. She's organizing a peace walk just blocks from this scene of the violence. The peace walk is set for 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Two men, by the way, are in police custody in the case.
This morning, a man shot by Carmel police officer is now facing several charges. This happened earlier this month, as new court documents now reveal that Daniel Castillo is accused of harassing his girlfriend, calling her nearly 200 times over 4 hours. Police were called to her apartment after he showed up banging on the door. Police say that they shot Castillo after he ran into a police car multiple times. Now Castillo faces multiple counts, including aggravated battery and criminal recklessness.
Well, this morning, Fishers Police is sharing new pictures of a driver allegedly involved in the hit and run of a teenager riding a bike. This happened earlier this month on 116th Street. And they want you to take a look at this picture of a woman who they say was driving the silver Jeep Wrangler that hit the teenager and never stopped. So that crash did send the teen to the hospital. Police are asking for anyone who might have seen something that day or recognizes that vehicle or woman to give them a call.
Greenfield parents, listen to this. This morning, Greenfield police are putting more officers at Greenfield Central High School.
In a social media post, the department said that they are investigating another social media post threatening against the high school. The department says they're actively looking into the source and asking anyone with information to come forward. They will also have extra officers at this school this morning.
There's a warning from law enforcement in Hendricks County right now about fentanyl. They say overdose deaths are down in Hendricks County this year compared to last year, but they say so many lives are still being impacted by the deadly drug. Just last week, Plainfield police say they made a traffic stop on US 40 and found fentanyl in the car that they believe the suspect was going to sell.
We're seeing it crystallized, we're seeing it in powder form, in pill form, even liquid form. And so you really don't know where it could be in anything you're taking.
They want to remind you there are resources to help those struggling with addiction. Overdose Lifeline is a group that provides free Narcan and fentanyl testing strips.
Well, today, an Indiana-based ministry and the Hamilton County Coroner's Office will share more information about the victims of the tragedy at Fox Hollow Farms in Westfield.
This is a story that we've been following for decades now. Gina Glaros joins us now with more on how those lives are now being honored. Gina, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, bringing some closure to these families. Today will mark the first time the community has given the victims and their families a public dedication 30 years after Fox Hollow Farms became the site of those crimes. In 1996, police discovered human remains of dozens of young men. Serial killer Herb Baumeister is accused of killing these men and leaving their remains on his Westfield property. And just a couple years ago, there was a renewed push to identify these victims. More than 10,000 bone fragments were found. The current owner still finds remains today and takes them to the University of Indianapolis. We spoke to the Hamilton County Coroner about the importance of finding a match.
Is to provide family with closure and to get these people that have sat on a shelf for 26 years that were forgotten a final resting spot.
The goal of today's dedication is to move forward and celebrate the victims' lives with dignity and honor. Indiana-based ministry He Knows Your Name and the Hamilton County Coroner's Office are holding a news conference. That conference is set for 10 o'clock this morning. Our Emily Longnecker has been covering the story and will bring you the very latest later on today, ladies.
All right, maybe new developments, I suppose, when we hear from them later this morning. Thanks, Gina.
Well, more issues for drivers on the west side now as the ongoing bridge work on West Washington Street over Little Eagle Creek will take longer than expected to finish.
Yeah, not news you want to hear if you drive in this area, but NDDPW says that it won't reopen for another year.
Oh,
sorry about that.
yeah.
So it is affecting drivers, as we know. Businesses, they are just equally frustrated.
NDDPW says that the historic 100-year-old bridge is in worse shape than they thought, and they have to be careful and follow certain regulations. So in the original estimate, the city said that it would only be closed for 4 months. So you better get used to taking maybe a different route if you need to.
Well, tonight, hey, get ready. The Colts are back in action for their final preseason game.
They're on the road this time in Cincinnati, playing the Bengals. The two have held a joint practice this week leading up to tonight's game. But Coach Shane Steichen tells us the starters will be taking the field.
So kickoff, this is a late one, is 8 o'clock. The Colts open the regular season then on September 8th when the Houston Texans come here to Lucas Oil Stadium. Well, this morning, 2 major railroads come to a grinding halt, leaving more than 9,000 workers on the sidelines.
The potential impact on the U.S. economy and the threat to supplying some critical industries ahead.